Hey, IDS 302. Let's get the show on the road here. It's Sunday, what do I got? May 23rd, um, about 11:08. Welcome to video, the 2.1 already? Yeah, video 2.1. So let's jump in here. Gonna have a few things to talk about, of course. Um, well, has anybody kind of gotten to the to the epiphany that I'm not no more Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know. No, I know that now that I'm going to score your papers for real. I mean, good work. That's going to represent academic rigor, et cetera, et cetera. Um, there may be some, you might not feel good about some of it. I get it. It's fine. If you want to talk about anything, we can talk, okay? I got my iPad balancing on a candle here and we're getting a little wobble, little wobble. Take my arms off the table. So, I just want to let you know that, I try to put the instructions out clearly. I don't offer redos unless I do specifically. Um, Formatting is greatly important, as is spelling and capitalization, right? I don't know how anybody can have an issue with that, right? Because there's nothing wrong with that, right? So let's talk about the discussion boards. Some of them require responses to your peers, some don't. Keep an eye on that, okay? It's always two responses to two peers, like the introduction was. I just worry that some people aren't seeing that if they didn't post any, and it's up to you. If you don't want to post any, just get dinged the points, right? That's fine. I want to go back to capitalizing the disciplines. Now that we're getting into some real heavy disciplinary work, to know what the disciplines are and to capitalize them. And again, if you looked at that list that I posted for that discussion board, it's like, wow, everybody's like, oh my God, it's a huge list. It is. It's monstrous, right? And those are disciplines. And disciplines are essentially a body of knowledge that has parameters, has its own sets of theories, concepts, ways of research, okay, and is studied in a certain way that you could probably get a degree in it, right? That's a discipline, okay. Let's look at what my MacBook says about discipline. It means obey. No, I'm just kidding. uh, Academic discipline. Come on, just give me something. Academia. A branch of knowledge, typically one studied in higher education. Okay, so now we're going to find that in many cases people don't capitalize disciplines. They're talking about sociology, they won't capitalize it, um, and yet I want you to capitalize disciplines. Why is that? Well, I want you to give the disciplines the authority that they deserve, more or less, that they require. I want to know that you're dealing with something a little bit different when you're talking about big B business over small b business, okay? So I'd like you to remember to capitalize the disciplines. And if you do that, you'll be good, okay? So capitalize. Now, remember not to capitalize the word discipline. It's not a proper noun unless it's starting a sentence, right? Don't overthink capitalization. You know it. Go back to your falling off a bike, get back on from fourth grade and on. You know how to capitalize. You know what a proper noun is, what it's not. Don't just wing it and think that things are proper nouns. Now, I know on the research topics, I probably had them in a list with capitals, gun control, whatever. You don't if it's a generic topic, alternative medicine, just lowercase alternative medicine. Okay, just do that. Okay, Black Lives Matter would be capitalized. Current political climate, lowercase. All right. Look at the comments I leave you on anything. Make sure you double check when I give you a score, even if it's a perfect score. Look at the comments. For example, gave a lot of perfect scores on the research topic, but I also had something to say in many cases. Some things that may cause you to get dinged in the future. So take a look at the comments. Do not leave me a comment. This isn't fair, but if you leave me a comment under my comment, I won't see it. Canvas does not notify me, so I appreciate if you email me the question separately with your Easter eggs. I don't care, okay? And then you can ask me that follow-up question, all right? Let's see. And you remember you can be late. There's a late policy. I'm going to tweak it, like I said. It's going to remain 10% per day up to 5 days, and then it's over. It turns off. Easter eggs can be 5 days late with no late payment. Discussion boards and small assignments can be late 5 days with 10% a day. The main papers, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will allow those to be late, and I will only deduct 5% per day for 5 days. Gives you a little wiggle room. Nobody should ever be more than 5 days behind on those big papers. Okay, so if you're willing to take that hit, measure it out, right? And then figure that out. Okay, now, uh, I want to know how many Treys are actually in this class. No, I'm just kidding. I'm doing the introduction. So call me Trey. Call me Trey. It's like, no. Okay. By the way, I tried to call you by your preferred name or nickname, but forget about it after this. Whatever comes through an email, whatever you're enrolled in, that's what I'm calling you. Okay. I can't change. I got you hardwired as a particular name. All right. So remember this. Okay. 3 credit class requires about 120 hours minimal to be very successful at. Look it up. You can find it anywhere in higher education. 3 credit courses require 120 hours of investment, whether that's in classwork time or whether that's in study time or what have you wise, right? So this is tough because if you do the math on that, that equals like 3 hours per day for this class, for this session. That's insane. Okay. It means about 21 hours per week. I'm going to be realistic. And obviously, not a lot of people are going to put that time. And if you do, you're gonna do really well, probably. Um, I just want you to know that, though, when you try to whip out something that in a class that's supposed to take 20 hours a week, and you're doing it in a couple hours on a Sunday, you might be getting what you've earned. Okay, so just be careful with that. Get a hold of me if you got issues. Let's talk about the disciplinary pyramid once more. That was obviously in the quiz. Well, I can't do that. That shuts off today, so I can't talk about it yet because people still haven't taken it. Oh no, that shut off yesterday, didn't it? Let me take a look again. I forgot. No, that was today, right? Yesterday was which one? Research topic. Quiz is today. Oh God, you got a lot of people who haven't taken it yet. I'm not going to talk about it. All right. Okay, so now let's go to Easter egg number 1. Capitalize the disciplines. All right. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay. And don't be embarrassed if you don't. Again, you don't have to apologize. If I correct it, I correct it. You just won't do it again, right? I mean, it's perfect. I know that. It's no big deal. All right. Thinking outside the box. Let's see. That was discussion board 1, 2. Only 3 people have not turned that in yet. So let me just say that you guys did a great job on that. It's an extensive list. It's huge, right? And I want you to reach. I want you to consider as, how wild it is. I mean, come on. You think back in, the 1800s, if someone came up with automotive sciences or combustible engines, I'm just being weird. Or rocket science, they'd be laughed at. It's not real. But I mean, there's a lot of those disciplines in there that are very advanced. But by the way, I typically yawn at least once in every video, some kind of real quirk I have. Just it's not. I mean, I know I'm boring you, but you can't be boring me. You're just in there. So, all right. So we've got a lot of good jobs on that one. A lot of good work on there. I think everybody actually did fine, unless you turned it in late. Then you got 3 points off. So it's good work. Won't dwell on that too much longer. It's just a way to expand your mind. Next. Your research topic that was due yesterday, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people haven't turned it in yet. So that's good because that means we're getting on our way. All right. Speaking on that, the research topic is important. If you didn't follow the instructions by not including that overarching question, then you got dinged for that. Okay. It's explained in there, and I know there's a reason why. So, by the way, here's the big news of the day. I'm going to do another video today after this one. I'm going to do a quick costume change, everything, shave my beard, come back. Oh, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to talk about the research. It's a bonus video. I haven't done one of these since last year, where I felt that I don't want to drag this thing out 30, 40 minutes. So I figure I'll do another video that I'm just going to talk about the research and the research paper. That's all I'm going to talk about. And what goes into it, okay, including formatting. I'm going to do 3 Easter eggs for that one. You'll get 5 extra credit points. So hopefully you can learn something. feel more comfortable what we're doing, and get some more points, right? Isn't that cool? So I'm going to do that after this, all right? Let's see. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. One thing I want to remind everybody, though, on research. Remember we talked about research at this higher level is different than research in high school or research on your own interests. Research adds new knowledge to a field, to a body of knowledge, okay? However, incremental. And if you read that Leedy section, attachment that I put in Module 1 with, this is Module 2. Why am I not talking about it yet? Oh, I will be. Okay. It adds new knowledge, right? So Easter egg number 2 is university level research adds new knowledge. I want you to remember that because as you're contemplating your topic, especially one like climate change or something, you're required to add new knowledge. You're not required to just say, I really want to learn about Black Lives Matter or political climate. I want to do this. No. And the hard part for researchers is this. When you're describing why you want to research something, something, it's not because you want to know anything about it. That's not the reason. That's not a good reason. Okay? Because check it out. Check it out. Let's say you are a uh, marine biologist researcher. You're not going to say, I'm going to research the whales, whale communication, because I always want to learn about whales and their communication. Whoever you tell that to, they're going to think you're crazy because you're already a marine biologist. That's like saying, I'm talking to you today and I'm going to research breathing because I really like to breathe. It's like a 3-letter response. Duh. Okay, so the hard news is that, the tough way to take it is that nobody cares. Of course you want to know more about it. That's default. Of course I want to breathe. That's default. Okay? If you want to learn about, you know, more about climate change as a researcher in a specific area, you want to add to the body of knowledge in your field with some type of new information that can be shared in the research community, in your knowledge community. Research is typically very unselfish. Yes, people do it for their own, rise up in the researcher ranks, but it's to make it's not, I'm not just researching, because if you're just researching to learn more about frogs, you wouldn't share the new discovery with other people. You got what you wanted, right? No, see what I mean? You got to get that. Okay, so Module 2, Learning Materials. You got 31 pages to read, chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7. You got 4 pages, 7 pages, 11 pages, 9 pages. You're talking about critical thinking and epistemology, integrative learning, basic research methods, and an introduction to interdisciplinary research. It's why y'all came to this restaurant. You sat at a table, now learn something about it, right? So I'm not going to get into it again. It's up to you to read that. Wizards are up 1.5, according to my son. Okay. Now, let's see. Quiz 2 is going to be focused on chapters 1 to 5. Okay. It's going to have 13 multiple choice questions and 17 true or false questions. In other words, piece of cake. Okay. Which is what I'm going to have Wednesday. Okay. So, step 1. I'm going to get into more about that in the bonus video, but we're going to talk about content, formatting. Look at the sample. Again, I'm posting samples. That's better than a rubric. The rubric tells you. The sample shows you, right? Okay, so here's my freebie for you guys. Freebie. Step 1. You know about this going in. Okay, let's just take a look. How much is there to do in Module 2? Okay, let's really take a look. Module 2. You got to do the video and the video, right? Today and probably Wednesday. You got the learning materials, which are just the readings, right? You got to do the quiz, do on Saturday, and you got to do Tanner Step 1 on Sunday. I removed an assignment that was worth 50 points out of this. I'll have you know for your sake, so that you don't have to concentrate basically on the readings and Step 1 and the quiz. So because of that, you got a head start. Here's what I'm going to do. If you turn in your Step 1 by Friday before midnight, and not a rough draft, if you can do what you can do with it, I will score it over the weekend. I'm going to town Sunday, though. I'll score it over the weekend, and I'll give you a chance to redo it. Okay? Now, that does not mean if you submit crap, excuse my French, like a rough draft, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. You turn in what you would consider this is my shot at step one. I just got it done before the weekend. I know if that creates like immeasurable difficulties for those of you that can't get to the work on weekend, you're gonna have to let me know, okay? Because as I said, this isn't a real class that you can just do stuff in the last day. So last 2 days, maybe. But I'm going to talk a lot about that in the bonus video. But if you get it done by Friday, you submit it. I'll look at it. I'll score it. If it's a good score, let's say, I mean, what's it worth? 100 points. I used to have that worth 50 points. I'll have you know. Wow. Step 2, 100 points. Step 3, 100 points. Step 4, 100 points. Step 5, 150 points. Well, don't blow this because step one used to be worth 50 points. It was a throwaway. I want something good. You got a week to do it. And so let's say you turn it in by Friday and you get 85 out of 100. You may say, I'm done. That's cool. I'm good. You know, you may get 90 out of 100, whatever. You decide. Okay. Typically I find formatting things. So I'm giving you a chance to learn about the formatting, learn about the standards, and it's important. Formatting is important. I'll get to that in the next video, okay? Because that's all you have to do, and that's me cutting back on that 21 hours a week that you'd be required by giving you opportunity to put your time towards the things that matter most. Reading the material, because you'll learn about it, okay? Doing a quiz, which is going to show it reflects your knowledge of the material, and then immersing yourself in step one, in the research and what's going to happen, what you came here for. This is good stuff. You're going to use this, trust me. If you don't use it like in business or your own entrepreneurship or something, you'll use this like I use IPTI. I used IPTI. You know what IPTI is? Any of you watch Family Guy? And this goes back to like 1974 when I was taking driver's ed in high school, and there was a brochure, and it was called IPTE, IPDE, and we learned it, and I got hardwired with that. So it was identify, predict, decide, execute. So when you're driving, you know you're constantly doing this when you drive. You're identifying. You're always identifying when you're driving, identifying situations, possibilities, potentials. You're going to predict. Predict. You're going to predict what might happen. Is that guy going to stop that light? Is that one going to go through? What predict? You decide. Okay, so how I'm going to respond is I'm going to go through the green light because I believe it's cool. You know, instantly you're going to think this, and you're going to execute it by doing it. So identify, predict, decide, execute. I got hardwired with that. When I saw it on Family Guy, it just cracked me up. When uh, who was it? Somebody was teaching Stewie was teaching the dog how to drive. Yeah, it was hilarious. So Brian, that's what his name is. And but this research, like this Tanner's 5 steps, is an interdisciplinary. You can consider things from this point of view. You're not going to be doing the research paper in your head, but it'll be a step-by-step thing about how to identify in a particular issue, topic, problem, whether it's big, whether it's small. You'll be able to see it from more sides because you're now looking at things from multiple disciplines, which, by the way, is going to be 3, and I'll talk about that, right? Okay, so that should do it. Let's see again. Don't submit again. Okay. All right. Last Easter egg for this. And again, remember, I'm going to do a bonus video. I'll put it out after this one, but maybe an hour after this one. And there's going to be Easter eggs for that. What I'll do is I'll add those Easter eggs to these Easter eggs. So if you watch, video 2.1 and do the bonus, I'll give you 10 points in that slot where it says 5, okay? And that's going to jack up a lot of people's scores right there. Okay, so last Easter egg is take formatting seriously. Take formatting seriously. Like I said, when I text on this thing, I don't care about spelling, grammar, whatever the hell. I'll put emojis, memojis, bitmojis, whatever the heck I do, okay? All right. If I am writing an email, I may put, or comments to you guys, I may put the little smiley face parenthesis thing with the dots. I may do an LOL, okay? I may. I'm not going to worry about paragraph indents or anything, but I will try to make it readable. But on a paper, you best be knowing that I will format correctly. I'll use paragraph indents. I will use proper spelling, proper grammar, proper way to citation, in-text citations. I will do the works cited list correctly. It's important. It's the way you present that work as an academic. Okay? And I don't know if you're seeing this, but like if you're going through this book and reading it and you come up with see some grammar or spelling issue, if you're really paying attention and see that, it'll kind of make you go like, what? I never see spelling errors in this stuff. I mean, yeah, they go through hundreds of pages without spelling errors. But I was just on, looking at MSN, the articles, and I'm just appalled at some of the journalism that I see there. I mean, spelling, grammar's incorrect, typeface is wrong, everything. I mean, I just saw an article about, the alien announcement or the UFO announcement coming up in June, and somebody, and the writer mentioned this is the great white hope for, UFO enthusiasts. Or the great white hope? What in God's name? That's a early 20th century reference to Jack Johnson, who was a boxer. I haven't looked it up. Who was a boxer, and he was a black boxer who had knocked out somebody, but he was the first African American to win a heavyweight championship in boxing. It was really big back in the day, and so he fought a guy named Jim Jeffries on July 4th, 1910, who was nicknamed the Great White Hope because the white people wanted him to win because he would beat the black guy. You don't just use this as a colloquialism. Oh, it's a great white hope. It's just absurd. Not to mention that white needs to be capitalized. White and black should be capitalized. You're talking about race, but it should not be capitalized for any other color. I don't know why, but that's true. I guess we don't want to. But so there's things that are important about the way we write and how we put our things across. And just to shrug that off, say, they use the term "great white hope," whatever. No, it's wrong. We got to get better than that. That's cheap. That's just so. Anyways, all right. I'm sorry. Now I got to 22 minutes. I didn't want to get a lot long. Hey, everybody, have a good week. It's a beautiful day here in Phoenix. That's all I got for you. Talk to you soon. Forks up. Peace.